Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whenever you're listening to this, Brovivor, I am your host, Joseph, joined by my brother,
The one and only Matt C.
my one and only brother, yes, Matt C.
As far as you know.
Uh-oh. Well, there's always Ted, but
Yeah, we don't talk about Ted.
right.
Ted.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I said Ted's long gone. He
Ted's
tried to
long
alt
gone,
it.
you're right.
He alted in an org once, and Dad just got rid of him.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome to our third episode, technically first of the actual game of Brovivor Iguazu Falls, Season 18. We didn't really do much pre-merge coverage because, to be honest, there wasn't too much that happened in the post-swap. So we just decided to kind of push it all into one big recap podcast and hopefully uh, get one good episode out of it instead of having two short ones. So, I think last time from our first pregame podcast, we left off talking about our day one, getting to know everybody from both tribes. Talked a little bit about the bounty twists and whatnot. However, we did record that at the time before our other major twist of the season and only other twist that's going to occur this season of the lack of a Final Four immunity challenge. So if you want to go ahead and start talking about that, be a good place to start.
Yes. So this is an idea. I don't remember when I came up with that the idea of having no Final Four challenge. I think I was listening to some sort of
Mhm.
podcast, and they were toying around with the idea of people like comping their way to the end and not worrying about the social gamer strategic game as much. And so I thought of the idea of what if there was no way to win immunity physically at the final four and put a little more emphasis on the relationships and the strategy throughout the game. So originally, my original idea was just no final four challenge. You had to get people to take you to the end without winning immunity. But Joseph and PG decided to tweak that a little bit, and they wanted to add that the person that would be immune at Final Four was the person who got the least votes throughout the game. Still
Right.
incorporating that social and strategic aspect into it, but giving the players a little opportunity to play a little different throughout the season, possibly throw a vote here or there in order to set themselves up better for the Final Four. Maybe it would cause a little drama with someone throwing a hinky vote here or
Right.
hinky vote there. Or maybe, who knows, someone could get accidentally voted out because someone threw a vote when they shouldn't have thrown a vote.
Mhm.
So that's the basic premise of the idea. It's a very simple one, but it's a little confusing at first, especially because we feel like we had to give it right at the beginning of the season so that everyone fully understood the what was at stake every single tribal. Because at the end of the
Right.
day, it will all add up.
Mhm. And I think right off the bat, I don't think a lot. Okay. I think right away, I think people were a little overwhelmed with all the twists, especially for some of the people like Colin, who are so used to the basics of just the normal vote somebody out in Survivor, and there's a Final Four immunity challenge, and you win it, and you can get it, and like it's just a basic form. However, we dumped a lot on them in the beginning, and obviously, we're not going to do anything like that for the rest of the season. But um, there's a lot of people
Yeah.
who took different approaches to it, which was either they freak out about it originally and then they calm down, or the people who said, "I'm just going to flat out ignore it. It's not going to affect my game at all," like Eric.
Yeah,
Um,
as a general principle, as a host, I like to state everything up front and let
yeah,
the players play, as opposed
right,
to trying to spring something on them randomly or just be like, "Oh, hey, this is now in the game,"
right,
like mid merge
yep,
or whatever. So we give it to them, lay out the rules as clearly as possible. Maybe it takes a second to read twice, but
hmm
once you fully understand it, you're able to adjust your strategy, move forward,
yeah,
deal with it or ignore it, however you choose to play
yeah,
it.
yeah. I definitely agree with that. I think that that's just a general premise that's good with most orgs. But in
And
this
I
case, oh,
I
sorry,
think in terms of the pre-merge, it really hasn't affected people because people are more worried about
right,
uh, not getting voted out. But as we get
hmm
closer to the end, especially final five, final six, final seven, maybe,
7, yeah,
it'll definitely probably come into play. And if it doesn't, then you're probably playing poorly
Right.
because you should be thinking about who's gonna have immunity at 4.
And I would say that 9 times out of 10, it wouldn't have mattered if we had told them here or at the merge, that there was gonna be no Final Four immunity, but still, if there's that one player that wants to utilize that early on, I think it was nice to give them that opportunity, but I think most of the players just ignored it, which is fine,
R
but I'm
right,
just ready for
another
that slow burn and the sudden
yeah,
heat at the end.
another thing with giving it to them at the beginning of the season as opposed to at the merge is that it provides the opportunity for a little bit of subterfuge in revealing pre-merge vote totals if
Right.
that should come into play because not everyone was at pre-merge tribal councils. In fact, 7 people, no,
No,
4 people did not go to a single pre-merge tribal council, and we were 1 tribal away from 7 people not going to a single pre-merge tribal
Yep,
council.
yep. I'm
Uh,
don't even get me started on my hate for that tribe, like, you
okay,
know how much I hate them. Like,
we don't
individually, they're all likable.
we don't hate our players. We
Well,
would like to see
no,
a yeah, unless your name is Aiden, Keanu, or Redacted,
that's
winner of
it.
season 5.
Oh.
We do not hate our players, but
I
there
hate the
there there
tribe.
there are opportunities for compelling gameplay that may not be seen because of certain mentalities. But you know, if you think it's to
Okay,
your advantage to play a certain way, I'm not going to blame them. We can get into that more as we
okay,
go through
fine. I'll hold off my
this pre-merge.
messages. I don't like to hide my
Yeah, and
okay. Sorry, alright,
it'll
yeah.
it'll become clear that as we go through the pre-merge, there are certain people that don't have to go to tribal at all, and so they don't have to really test their bonds.
Mhm.
And Milk Touch is a very strong mentality with some people,
Yeah.
and that's a strategy. So,
Oh,
but
yeah, I don't wanna bank on them or, like, bash on them because they're playing this way. I'm saying I mean, it's smart from their point of view, obviously. I'm just saying that
some of their point of views, and we'll see as we go
it's gotta
further
be
into
smart
the
for a majority of that group.
right,
Like,
right, and
obviously, there's gonna be 3 people sorry.
we'll
Sorry.
we'll see. We'll see how it carries on into the merge, but we're really not here to talk about the
Quite
merge
yet? Yeah.
today quite yet. Um, we can go back to challenge 1 and
Right.
get into the craziness that was digging for your life.
Right. So, digging for your life. This is a challenge taken from Sororgs, but with a little bit of modification, which was essentially what you have to do is you're given 10 different colors and 10 different like locations and or objects where you have to go into your submissions and you just basically have to spam every single combination that you can. And 4 of the different combinations, like the blue rock or whatever it'll be, will give you a number, and once you have all those numbers, you put them into command, you get a jigsaw puzzle. The tribe with the fastest time or fastest average, I think it's just fastest total at this point, um, basically wins the challenge. Which
Yeah, it was
leads,
total.
which obviously, this seems like a pretty simple challenge on the surface. You just got to spam from the starting from red, and then you go to the end of something, and then you go to orange, and then the next list. However, we decided to hide a clue to the hidden immunity idol in this challenge, which held up a couple of times.
Right. So the original plan was to just make it a 1 through 100 thing, where you'd go dig 1, dig 2, dig 3, 4, dig 5. But if we did that, we assumed that a lot of people would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 100, right? And so if we hid the idle clue in a certain spot before the fourth combination lock number, then everyone would find the clue. And we didn't want that, so we decided to change it to colors and locations. Uh, so that it would basically be kind of random if you went and found that idle clue. And I'd
Right.
say about half the players ended up
Right.
finding the idle clue. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not everyone found it directly through the challenge. Some people found it because other people told them about it. But
Hmm.
uh, once you find that idle clue, I believe it was in White Bridge. Um,
Sure.
you then had a choice of whether you wanted to actually go for it or uh, whether you want to just continue on the challenge. Because going for it you had to complete that step of the idol hunt during the challenge time. You couldn't go back and do it afterwards. You have to complete it then, and then once you completed it, then you got another command that you can use after the challenge. So it would take some of your time away to try to figure out that idol clue.
Mhm.
And I think this caused quite a bit of tension because some people found the clue and wasted like 30 minutes trying to solve it. Cough, cough, echo. Some people just did horribly and didn't even end up solving the idol clue, like Zach S.
Right.
Echo, I don't think Echo ended up getting it right, did he?
It's the idle clue?
Yeah,
I think he might have gotten far, but he didn't get it in time, right?
uh,
Like what he did was he tried to, um no, wait, no, I don't think he got it at all. I think you're right. I think he
right.
yeah,
Well, we can get into who did solve it. So first,
right,
it was on Jurupari with the Mayari went first, and
right.
she ended up getting the idol clue pretty quickly.
Mhm,
And then on Monai, Marcos was the first one to do the challenge for Monai,
mhm.
and he ended up walking away with the idol clue. But
Yeah.
the interesting thing about Marcos doing that is that he didn't tell his tribe he was doing the challenge. In fact, he waited till the next day to say, "Hey, I'm doing the challenge now."
Yep, that
So
was
so he
really smart.
effectively so he effectively lied to his tribe about when he did the challenge, because and then at that point, people had already known that the idol was gone. And so when Marcos said, "Hey, I'm going to do the challenge now," people knew the idol was gone, so they thought, "Hey, there's no way Marcos could have found the idol,"
Yep.
which is
So,
really smart because I don't think anyone really suspects that he has it
no, nope, not a
at this
single
point.
person has said it. And honestly, I think that was
Well,
very smart on Marcus's part because
to
Marcus
yeah, to be honest, at first, the homies, Oxy, and Colin thought that he did have it until he said that he hadn't done the challenge yet. And so I think that was a really proactive and smart
Mhm,
move. And really, it's not something that you can falsify. So
right.
I think it was a really heads up play by Marcos.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, but then you just said it before me. I was gonna say, that I think that was very smart on Marcus's part because, I think in the near future, not near future, but in the somewhat, uh, I don't know, we get to see that Marcos is one of the people that starts to, waver from the milk touch tribe strong mentality, right? Doesn't he, like,
Right.
talk about, his
A
plans
little
about,
bit.
like, I mean, obviously, he's not gonna do anything about it soon. I was just saying, like, he starts to realize, like, "Hey, we're all not gonna make the end. Like, someone's gotta go from our tribe, and somebody was gonna get voted out," that type
Mhm.
of deal.
Yeah, Marcos doesn't have great connections within Milk Touch
Right.
as far as allies go, especially after Toby leaves.
Mhm.
Because once Marcos solves, or he brings in, once he finds the idol clue, he ropes in Toby to help him go through the idol hunt, and
Mhm.
Toby ends up trying to put in White Bridge to get the idol clue before even starting the challenge, and we had to disqualify him because he wasn't allowed to type
Right.
the idol clue out of order. But he was like, "Oh, he was really sorry
Mhm.
about it. It was just an accident." But Marcos ends up solving the three puzzles. I think there's three puzzles
Right.
pretty quickly, and he walks away with the idol. And then Mayari does the same thing on the other side, and she
Does
walks away
anybody
with the idol.
suspect nobody suspects Mayari for having that though, right?
Nope, not at all. Which
So
is
that's something I'm
is
looking
kind of
forward
interesting.
to.
In fact, it becomes important later. They really don't think that she has the idol. They think Zach has the idol because he did much worse.
Right.
Uh,
Which that's more important for the next round though, as opposed to
yeah,
right now.
yeah, and
But
it's
yeah.
and it's the funny thing to me is the two people that do end up walking away with the idol actually have like better times than over half their tribe.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out with Marcos that he was like I think the second best time
He literally
on
had
his
the second
drive.
best time for tribe, and he solved the clue.
All right.
And the
So I
person that
think
did
that
have the
like
and the person that did have the best time, Shannon, was already knew that the clue existed, and she just skipped right over it, even though she
right.
found it.
Right, and
because
I think that
her Colin thought that there might be a clue in the challenge, and so she created the list of all of the different commands that would come up, and then they randomized it. And then what they
yep.
did is they had Colin start at the top of the list and Shannon start at the bottom of the list, so that even if it
Mhm.
was randomized outside of the parameters of the four, one of them would still walk away with the idol clue if it existed, which it did. And Colin did that and shared it, and they went through the idol hunt on VC that night to find it was all gone.
Right. Yeah, and so I think coming out of this, I'm very excited for the fact that both the people who did have a hidden immunity idol uh, came out of it like without having any repercussions. Obviously, I guess Marcos. Did Toby know about Marcos's idol? Yes, he did.
Yes,
But
Marcos
Toby
told
goes
Toby about
out,
the
so it
idol,
doesn't even matter.
and I don't believe Toby told anyone else. So
Correct. So yeah. So I think that's good for the challenge. Two people
yeah,
get idols, woohoo.
uh,
But
L
unfortunately,
number L number one for Jurapari,
right, Jurapari
one
starts
of
their
many.
curse and loses the first immunity challenge with over a 30-minute difference or something like that. Which, kind of sucks for them. However, we go to our first tribal council and everybody kind of unanimously agrees, like almost right when the challenge is over, that Zach P hasn't been really pulling his weight socially or in the challenges. So they kind of just like, okay, I think it's pretty natural. I think we all should just vote Zach P. Which, all cut and dry. We should just go move on next round, right? No.
No.
But then Zach P comes in and he's like, huh, people aren't talking to me. That's so weird. I wonder why. And then he kind of just goes nuts in tribal council. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, so there's
well,
there's some factions that start to form on Jurapari, but they're all pretty much void
they're
of
all they're
Zach
all
P.
I was gonna say they're
There,
all pretty much in agreement.
Zach P is in none of these, and it doesn't help
Mhm.
that Zach P got COVID during
Right,
this round, right?
right.
And Zach P is generally more of a villainous, outspoken person. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Yeah, so he wasn't really doing well uh, in terms of socializing early, and he was last pick on his tribe for a reason, I guess.
Mhm.
And his challenge performance was not good, and
No.
so he was also one of the people that people considered uh, as having the idol.
Mhm. Um,
So there was actually a little counterinsurgency by Stabner for a little bit, but it was just he was a little lost cause after
yeah, yeah, yeah.
some of the
So
blowups.
I
Do you
was
have a
gonna talk
name?
about that specifically with the different groups
Right.
that formed. So right off the bat, I think the biggest groups that you could see form were Mike, Stadmer, and Trey, and
Yep.
then Mayari, Zach S, and then Dan, right? With Eric and Tyrell kind of in the middle,
Right.
right?
So they had Club Penguin was the name
Right.
of their alliance. That was Dan, Mary, and Zach, and Trey, and Eric. So Trey was kind of in the center of
Yeah,
everything.
Trey at this point is dipping his finger in every bowl that he can, which
Yeah.
you'd think would be a really good strategy, and I thought that would have lasted him a good while because he wasn't
Well,
being very arrogant about it, like, "Oh my god, like I'm in total control of this tribe."
I
Um,
drafted him for a reason because he was in the most alliances.
yep,
He basically he did have an alliance with every single person except for Zach P. So
right. Um, so there's that Club Penguin alliance, and then there was also what was the other alliance that was going
it
on?
wasn't named. It wasn't named. It was just Mike, Stabner, Trey, and Tyrell.
Okay, yeah, but there
Uh,
was also I don't know. There's also Mike Stabner, Trey, and Eric,
it was, it,
right?
uh, yes. That was also a
Okay.
little group. Stabner and Eric, they've played together before, so
Mhm.
they kind of decided to have each other's backs early,
Right.
especially in this pre-swap when you don't know many
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
so a lot of people come to the decision that Zach P needs to go,
Yep.
and I think Zach P knows at this point that he's on the outs and really got nothing to
Yeah.
lose. Do you have any specifics of what Zach P was saying?
I could go pull up the tribal council that
Yeah,
he went out,
I
but
think
like
it
there was a lot of people like didn't even like DM him, right? Like everyone just
right.
kind of just or like at least like didn't give him anything. It was a lot of the uh oh, I don't know what's going on. But all of a sudden, like everything goes normal. Tribal council questions are being asked. Everyone answers them, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Zach B comes in saying, "Damn, you people are so dumb. You've given me every clue I need. I'm the main vote, and 2 votes are being thrown into Tyrell. 3 if you consider my own." Um, and then he says, "This is the real kicker. Let's just throw out votes onto whichever one we want. I found the idol ages ago, and sure as neither of us go home." And he directly calls out Tyrell with this, not even like a I'm going to do that. He's just saying, Tyrell, you and me should do this together.
Yeah, if you have to publicly declare that you found the idol day 1,
Yeah. Nine
I
times out
don't
of 10,
think
that's not real.
9 times out of 10, I don't think you have the idol. And
Yep.
I think people came to that conclusion, and did someone threw a vote, though, to make sure that, in
Yes,
case he
that
did have an idol.
was a thrown vote onto who was it? It was a thrown vote onto
Uh,
Zach S, right?
that sounds right to me. Let me just double check the vote tracker total counter. It was
Oh,
let me see,
wait,
confirm
no. It was a thrown vote onto Tyrell because Zach P
oh,
voted Zach S.
okay, Zach P ended up switching his vote to Zach S because he thought that was more likely that he was able to flip it onto him
All right. The
because he
Zach,
performed.
or sorry, not Zach. The Tyrell vote came from who did it come from?
I believe it.
Was it Staver?
That sounds right to me.
No, it wasn't Staper. Okay, I feel like we're focusing too much on that. The point is there's a throne vote. It doesn't really matter who it was, but
I think.
because it
Oh,
didn't
was
really
it?
have any lasting impact. It wasn't like
No.
who voted me like from last season with the fallout of Garrett.
Who voted for me?
Johnny Fairplay, yeah,
That's my Rupert. Your Rupert impression is much better than mine.
Johnny Fairplay.
Johnny Fairplay.
Yeah. Um, so unfortunately, we didn't get anything like that last season with Garrett and Andrew, but nevertheless it was still a thrown vote.
Yeah. Um.
Anyways, Zach P also so he
Dan vote.
comes out.
Dan.
It was Dan.
Dan voted for. No, no, no. Never mind. That was the next round. There's so many
um,
switch votes.
right.
But yeah, it was just
Anyways,
the basic flip out of a target that knows they're getting votes and basically getting voted out, and they complain that no one's playing when they won't vote the way they
yeah,
want them to vote. And
and
Zach P
somebody
was
like
really pitching himself
Stabner.
as
I was gonna say
Zach P was
Stabner
really
considered it for a second.
yeah. I mean, Zach P was pitching himself as a shield, which he probably would have been an effective shield, but he also is horrible in challenges and not super easy to work with. It seems.
Right. I
I
mean,
was
but
just
to be fair, if your tribe's gonna lose every challenge anyways, why not have that shield around? Um,
I mean, yeah, I
because
mean, I think these people thought they had a chance to win these next challenges.
right, which I
But
think we also talked about a little bit in the pregame podcast where we said that what's it called? Jurapari picked on the people that they or picked based on the people they like, while Manai picked on uh, challenge strength, right?
yeah, I mean, Monet also picked based on who they like, but they also picked the people they like that were good at challenges,
Right.
as opposed to Zach, who picked his friend, Dan,
Hmm.
who then picked his friend, Mayari.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was funny. I don't know. That tribe
yeah,
was
I
kind of
think
set up for disaster.
it was kind of weird to see Zach S do super well in the first challenge, the win the
What
word search,
happened?
and then just completely shit the bed in the next couple challenges. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe he's just insane at word searches. It's like the
Did you
one
know that he
skill that
beat
he
the
has.
grand champion, grandmaster at word searches when he was younger twice?
Oh, Guillermo Villas.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
It's crazy. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Zach P kind of just try to paint himself as a shield, which when you come out of the gate, calling people out in tribal council and saying nobody's playing and uh, I'm like I'm a shield, I have the idol, blah blah blah. It's a lot at that first tribal council, and I think it was just too much.
I think Zach P was off to a bad start the moment he got
Right,
drafted last, and
right.
wasn't really any room to maneuver.
I mean, I'm happy though, because like we could have gotten that simple 7-1 vote, or sorry, 8-1 vote. But
Mhm.
luckily Zach came in to save the day with a good travel council. So thank you, Zach.
Yeah, yeah, there are much worse first boots in terms of entertainment. Sometimes you just
Correct.
kick the inactive to the curb, but, in this
Yeah, I
case,
wouldn't have
you
called Zach P inactive. I would not.
nope, nope, not at all.
So there you go. There's your Zach P round. I don't know if there's anything else too major to talk about. I guess like we did briefly say Stabner
Okay,
starts
wait,
to get really.
I figured it
Oh,
out. Zach S. voted for Tyrell in the first round.
why? Oh, what was this? Because like I don't know why.
It was just, I guess, in case Zach P actually did have the idol, and then if Zach S knew that Zach P was voting for him, then it'd be 1-1 between Tyrell and him, and ideally his allies would
Um,
vote out. But it didn't
got
matter
it.
because Zach P didn't have the idol.
Yeah. So nothing really important happens this round. I guess we did briefly mention though Stabner kind of getting like antsy on his tribe and being like, I don't really like this Zach P voot, but I can't do anything about it.
Yep,
So
yep, yep.
yeah, next round.
What
We
challenge
had
was next?
next challenge was Maze Madness. Basically, we just send them a picture of the maze, and they have to send a screenshot of the maze. Pretty
Mhm.
simple challenge after our first one that took a lot of not a
Yeah,
lot of work, but it was very
it's
simple.
it's it's a complicated design digging for your life. Maze Madness is probably the simplest challenge we could do. Not the
Right.
simplest, but it's the simplest ones that we do.
Correct.
Um,
I do think that from this challenge though, we did get a lot of playful banter between a lot of the Manai members about like people sucking at challenges. Um,
mhm.
which I think the fact that people on this tribe can joke about sucking at challenges and sucking at the game, proves how close they are and sets up for uh, a very strong bond between a lot of them later on, specifically Colin, Echo, Oxy, and Shannon, right?
Yeah, the VC homies formed somewhere in this range. I don't know exactly when, but
It's very early on,
very
but
early on they become pretty tight.
it's
Pretty
a lot of people shit talking Echo for being bad at challenges because he spent so long on the challenge last round.
yes. Everyone on Monai basically knew that Echo was pretty doing pretty poorly. It was an
Right.
open book, but the difference was the VC homies would joke about it with him, as opposed
Mhm.
to the other people that would be like, "Yeah, we need to get Echo out of here because of this."
Because
And
yeah,
so
exactly.
these factions start to form on Monai. You got Colin, Echo, Shannon, and Oxy on one side. You
Yep.
got Sage, Noah, Toby, and kind of Wib on that side.
Mhm.
Wib Toby more playing in the middle of it all, and
Right, right.
we don't really know which side they would have gone with if they really came down to it. But I
Mhm.
feel like if it had gone to a tribal, Marcos and Toby would have been like the swing votes in the middle there.
Yeah.
Whether it was Echo or I think the other side wanted to go after Noah
Mhm.
just because they had the least connection with him, but we never really know because
Yeah.
they didn't go.
They never went, which
And I think it would have been much more interesting if they had voted someone out because it definitely wouldn't have been a unanimous vote. I can tell you that. I mean,
oh, 100%.
it could have been unanimous, but it wouldn't have been a happy
So
unanimous. It would have been a
here's
begrudging.
the thing that I was gonna talk about is the fact that while Manai may have lost numbers in the pre-merge, it was never one of them voting out their own. It was always
Yep.
another person.
It was
It was always
it was literally the other tribe, and so
right.
they could point at the other tribe and say, "Hey, these are the bad guys that are voting out our own
Our
people."
people. Yeah, especially the
And
people
so
who everybody liked, like Echo and Toby.
I wouldn't say everyone liked Echo, but
Oh, come on.
everyone did love Toby. I mean, they didn't hate
Okay,
the
okay,
guy.
sorry, not liked, but it was a big milk touch enforcer, a
Yeah,
big
he
tribal
was
strong person.
he was definitely a milk toucher through and through.
Right. And so when they saw that, everyone just took that as, "Oh my god, the
It's
other tribe's the enemy. Why would the other tribe vote out one of our own? We wouldn't vote out one of our own, but we would."
I think that's something more we can cover when we get to Echo's boot. But
Yeah.
for the time being, we have Maze Madness.
Right. I don't think anybody, like, necessarily completely screws the challenge. I think it's
Toby
just
did ba
a
Toby did bad, Echo did bad. Echo submitted a maze in which he went right through the wall, and we had to tell him, "Hey, bro,
Yeah.
you went right through this wall," and he was like,
See,
"Oops."
yeah, but Manai had people like Shannon, Sage, Noah to, like, Wib, just, like
Oxy did best.
oh, yeah, Oxy. I didn't even look at Oxy's. Yeah, but they had people just insanely good just to cover those bad scores, whereas Jurupari just had um, like, a steady line of people where they all kinda got in a similar range of, like, 6 to 8 minutes, 6 to 9 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
this was the closest challenge they were to winning pre-swap, I think,
yeah, it was. I
for
think
sure.
so. Yes, it was. So, nothing really too exciting with the challenge. It was just like a similar Monai beats Drupari, and Drupari goes to their second tribal council. Woo! Um,
Yay, more Druparia tribal.
which at this point, I'm like, okay, Drupari goes to the tribal council. Like, yay, because I definitely feel like there's a lot that could happen here. A lot of sub alliances, but like, you know,
Yeah, the interesting thing is now that Zach P is gone, everyone's in some sort of alliance at this
right.
point, and so there's actually factions that'll have to vote against each other
Hmm. Yeah,
or
Zach P
vote
was
for
just pretty
someone in
much an
their own
easy vote for
faction.
everyone. Zach P was just pretty much an easy vote for everyone, and now we're sitting at a kind of like a 3 to 2, with the three being Trey, Mike, and Stadner versus Mayari, Zach S, and Dan, with Eric and Tyrell being in the middle, like I kind of
Yeah,
talked about before.
at this point, Trey was kind of shifted his allegiance. Like he was like, okay, I'm basically firmly with Stabner and
Right.
Mike on this one.
Yeah.
I'm not, even though I'm in Club Penguin, I'm not really loyal to it because
Right.
there's people in there that I don't really trust.
Right, because his I'm pretty sure Trey's logic was, I'm just like, I'm gonna stick with my group, but like I also want to make sure that the other side isn't gonna come after me, right?
Hmm.
Um, so eventually, what happens is after the challenge is over, Zach S does pretty bad in the challenge. Again, getting one of the higher times, one of the slower times, I guess. And then basically they come back and they're like, okay, Zach S, probably an easy vote. However, they start to worry about an idol perhaps floating around, right?
Oh, and one thing of note, Tyrell is the first person to get bounty
Oh, right.
this season, so he gets immunity at that second tribal, which he
Hmm.
thought he needed. He wasn't one of the most like connected person tribe, so I think
No.
there was at least a chance that he might have gotten targeted if he didn't have immunity. But
Hmm.
it was definitely helpful for him to continue to be a part of the decisions and not be targeted decisions, especially after Zach P had just like called him out as someone
Right.
that they could vote for last time.
Hmm. Um, yeah. So Tyrell, yeah, gets his bounty from Zach P, and then I come back to Zach S. Zach S is suddenly like a really easy vote. Doesn't really talk to the people from the side of Mike, Stabner, and Trey. Um, However, they start to worry slightly about an immunity idol, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think from now on we can just call him Zach, right? And then the other Zach's
Okay, we'll
gone.
just call him we'll call him Zach. So
Zach,
right,
famous
so they
or
worry
just
about Zach having an idol, and so they decide, okay, well, we need to vote somebody out from their side. So they land on Dan, right? Because Mayari is decently connected at this point, I
yeah.
think.
So they originally wanted to target Zach. Zach found out about this plan to target
Hmm.
him, and then word got back to Stabner that Zach found out about the plan, and so
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh, hey, if he has the idol, he'll play it because he knows we're going for him." And he did so
Mhm.
god awful on the first challenge. There's a good chance that he probably had gotten the clue. Whether he got the idol or not, they don't know, but they think he definitely at least got the clue.
Yep.
And so they're like, okay, well, Zach S is close to Dan and Mayari after I'm sure Eric or Trey leaked it to them that about the Club Penguin alliance because they basically fully flipped at that point. So they're like,
Yep.
okay, we like May better, and we also think she's better at challenges. So let's vote Dan.
Yep. So there was a lot of back and forth though between Eric and Tyrell, right? About like who they should choose.
I
Because at
I,
this point, wait, so how did the decision of Club Penguin get down to voting for Stabner?
I believe they found out that Stabner was targeting Zach.
Okay, so it was just a retaliation.
So they're like, okay, well, let's go after him with our 5 numbers of Club Penguin, and
Right. Gotcha.
we'll get him out. But little do they
Mhm.
know that Eric and Trey really weren't on their side. I don't think Tyrell and Eric really considered voting out Stabner that much.
Well, I know
Tyrell
Eric wasn't.
Ty Tyrell did a little bit, but I think Eric was pretty firmly not going to vote out Stabner.
Yeah.
And when those are the two options, Stabner's much better in challenges. I think he's more likable. Uh, they were better connected to him, so
Right.
they voted Dan.
Right. Which this Dan vote. I mean, okay. To Eric or to Club Penguin, they thought they had Eric and Tyrell's and Trey's votes in the bag. Right.
Hmm.
So after this tribal council, Dan is voted out, and all of a sudden Zach S is like, what the hell just happened? Like I
Yeah,
think he
Mayor.
literally in tribal council chat was like, "What?"
Yeah, this was a blindside through and through.
They
Mayor
said, where was it? Oh, what did he say?
he
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Zach
"Oh,"
S says, "Are you shitting me?"
and then in
Flat
his
out.
confessional, he's like, "Wow, that was wild." And he reveals to us that he actually known Dan for years.
Ah, we just have problems with that. We can't avoid connections
Yeah, yeah, that's unfortunate. At least it was snuffed out uh
early on.
pretty early, and so uh Dan gets taken out, which is kind of the bridge between Mayari and Zach.
Yep.
Um, but an interesting thing to note is that Zach, his bounty was Dan, so Zach
Right.
is now
So
safe for the next tribal
correct.
council. So they can't vote out Zach
And at this
even if they
point,
want to. So
oh, I was gonna say also that Mayari has a hidden immunity idol, right?
right. So what we were
So
thinking is, hey, if they go back to tribal, Zach's immune. Mayari's gonna probably idle because she knows she's on the outs.
yep.
Who's gonna go home?
So we head into our next challenge, which is Order Up, which we did last season. Basically, how this works is both tribes in their submissions channel will get a GIF or GIF, however you pronounce it, of 10 flags from countries across the world, and they have to rank them by population. Uh, and the tribe with the fastest average time wins immunity. So again, I don't think we get anybody standing out as absolutely horrible. Um, although Wib and Shannon did really
Yeah,
well, right?
let's talk about Shannon's approach to this challenge, right?
Yeah.
Shannon decides that she is going to make the spreadsheet of all spreadsheets on flags.
I see a theme with
She
Shannon.
she is going to make a spreadsheet. I believe it was entitled UG, UHG or UGH. Either
Yeah.
that or it was titled Hell. One of them was Hell and one of them was UG.
Mhm.
Um, the spreadsheet takes all of the flags, puts them next to their country, gives their population rank from 1 to 200 or whatever, how many countries there are, I don't know. And
Yeah.
then it sorts by the type of flag. So if it's vertical stripes, horizontal stripes, solid
Yeah.
colors, and emblems. And so you can go through the different types of flags. You're like, okay, this one came up. It's a red horizontal stripe, then a white horizontal stripe, then a blue horizontal stripe. We go down
Yeah.
to the horizontal stripe section, and you'll find these you find the flags. So
Mhm.
you'll look, oh hey, Luxembourg has a red, white, and a blue stripe. Oh hey, Netherlands also has a red, white, and blue stripe. And then decide from there. But
Right.
the point is that she used this massive, very well put together spreadsheet to do
Yep.
really well. And just the fact that she made the spreadsheet helped a lot, just like in
Yeah.
memorizing stuff. In fact, she told me about a couple days later, she was doing a social event for her honors college here at the school we go to. And then the activity was actually a Kahoot about world flags.
Oh
And
my god.
ended up she ended up dieting and getting like 3 or 4 questions right more than the person who came in second place. And it was very funny because one of the questions like it came up with Luxembourg and it was like, hey, is this Luxembourg Netherlands or whatever,
Mhm.
whatever. And she knew which one it was because we put which one did we put? We put Netherlands in
Yeah.
in the flags, but instead, some people thought it was Luxembourg because they're basically the same flag. We
Yeah.
we tried Joseph tried not to do that again this season, but ended up doing it by accident. Next time though,
Oh, yeah.
there will
We'll say that. Next time. Yeah, there's
no
gonna be
next
at
time
least 5 flags. Next time, we're only gonna include flags that are, like, similar to other ones.
yeah next time it's gonna be Chad and what's the other one? There's Chad looks like Romania. That's what it is. They're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So mark that down if you're playing next season. There'll probably be a Chad flag in order of.
Yeah.
Also, Wib is just crazy smart and like had a bunch of the flags memorized, so he
Right,
crushed
right.
it.
Wait, you're telling me they
Uh,
didn't cheat?
uh, the other tribe was convinced that uh, that Milk Touch was somehow how cheating because there's no way that you could even type out the 10 countries in 4 minutes, let alone.
Yeah, no, I could never just type in, like, a bunch of letters in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah, we deal with cheating accusations all the time. It's nothing new, but some people were convinced, and we had to tell them, "Hey, this is." We didn't tell them why because they were still in the game, but we were very confident these people didn't cheat.
Right.
Uh,
Yep.
they just just kicked their ass.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I mean, they had a
Right.
better strategy, and the fact and Shannon making this doc for everybody was very
Mhm.
helpful to a lot of people. There were some people that
Right.
went before she even made the doc, but they did fine. They didn't do
Yeah.
god awful
Mhm.
like some other
So
people. Nobody
right.
decided to play Mario Kart mid challenge, so
Oh, that's the wrong joke to make. You should have
I
made that with
know,
the first challenge, Matt.
I know.
Come on.
I forgot to make it about
Get
didn't
it
realize.
together. Get your
So
lore together, Matt.
I had to shade PG at least some point during this podcast.
Hey, you
So
can't do that. I'm only allowed to shade PG.
okay, well,
I would
would you
never.
like
I'm defending
would
PG, okay? If PG, if
would
you're
you like
listening to this right now, I'm defending you. No, I'm not shading PG. He doesn't deserve the slander.
well, PG, I love your podcast. I listen to it.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Okay. Now
I
you
listen
praise him.
I listened to one episode of Men Are Trash. So, uh, how many less
Oh, does
episodes?
that make you a qualified PG fan now that you
Yeah.
listened to
How?
one episode?
You're a PG fan. Name all his podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the guest on the most recent episode of Men Are Trash?
Huh? Huh? Hmm?
Huh? Huh?
I didn't listen to it. You caught me.
You will hear a wonderful
Fake
story about
fake
Kazooie.
fan?
Yeah, you're a fake fan, fake PG fan.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's move on from our PG rant.
Anyways,
I
yeah.
miss those.
So I just like to
Anyways.
put out there that this doc, while super impressive and definitely uh, helpful in winning the challenge, did kind of
Mhm.
put a little bit of a target on Shan's back. I believe it was at some point she was out of VC, and Wib and Colin, I believe, were in there talking or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Shannon will be a big community threat down the line."
Yeah.
So down near merge
Mhm.
time. And so that's my biggest fear with Shannon right now, is that she's making herself way too big of a threat. And she's told me in person that she knows that she's doing that, but she really can't help herself.
I just if
And I
Shannon
just hope that she does something about it.
if Shannon like utilized the minority, she'd be fine. That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
even
She's
think
spending.
I don't even think she needs to use like the minority,
I
because
just
she's in
meant.
like the I think she's in like the best spot in the majority if she
I
wasn't
meant
making
no.
herself
Well,
such a
what
big challenge threat.
I meant more of the fact that she needs to not isolate the minority and make them feel like oh,
I don't think I
I'm in the majority for of the Manai, right? I'm a
Yeah,
big
I mean
milk touch person.
I don't think that that's what she's doing per se. The only milk or Jura party that she's come into contact with this game is Zach, and Zach was not trying to make bond with her really.
No,
And there's plenty of reason to dislike Zach, and from her eyes. So I understand why Milk Touch is her like main group right now.
no, I
Hope
know.
that she is able to make some connections at the merge, but as of right now, I fear she's making herself way too big of a threat. And if she was able to just dial it back a little bit, and she'd still win most of these challenges. Um, I think she was just really like caught up in the wanting to like win and uh, not go to tribal, that she just did her best. And sometimes doing less is more, you know.
Right, right.
But I mean, it's still early, and we'll wait and see. And she still has social connections, so we can get into that more when we get to Evil 2048. But Shin's challenge performance is impressive, but a little alarming, to say the
Right.
least. Anything else in terms of the actual challenge of Order Up?
No, no. I think we spent on that.
All
So
right, so
eventually, what happens? Surprise, Drew Party loses the challenge once again, and like we were talking about earlier, this is perfect, not perfect scenario, but this is a weird scenario because we have Zach digital immunity, so nobody's going to be able to vote. And then we have Mayari an immunity idol, but people don't know that. So there was a very good chance that we would get an idol play. However, Stabner decides to go in his confessional and say, "Huh, Trey seems to be like he seems a little sus to me, right? Isn't
right,
that
I
what
don't think
happens?
he didn't really trust Trey much since the first episode, really, because they kind of disagreed on uh whether keeping Zach P was something they should even consider. And
Mhm.
also, he didn't like that Trey, he was clearly playing the middle.
Yeah,
Um, and so kind of formulates this plan. People generally seem to like Mayari, and uh,
yeah,
she she uh she has a good social game. Like, she should have been dead in the water here if people were not willing to make any sort of move. There's a lot of scenarios where people find themselves in the minority and they just really aren't able to gain any traction.
yeah,
So hats off to Mayari. She's able to get at least Tyrell and Stabner on her side,
yep,
and that's really all she needs, because Eric really didn't have any super strong connection to Trey, and so they're able to easily swing over and take out Trey. Are you there?
yeah. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
But
yeah. I'm just agreeing.
yeah, so I think personally, I think Zach S would have been gone if he didn't have the immunity from the bounty. I think
Really?
people would have realized that he didn't play the idol last time, so he probably didn't have it,
Yeah,
because he thought he was getting votes supposedly, or at least he knew of a plan to vote for him, unless he would just had balls of steel. But he didn't play anything, so I think he would have been gone. But he had immunity, so can't do
right,
that. Another instance of the bounty coming to play already.
right. Yeah. This round was there should be a lot more to talk about, but I think it was
Yeah,
just to Trey. Kind of built up and up because ever since Stabner was sus of him in the first round.
yeah. Trey, I think, just did a little too much. Sketched some people out and wasn't able to uh, solve any problems because he didn't know there were problems with his
Mm,
allies.
yeah.
And so he thought the easy vote was on Mayari, and so he voted Mayari.
Mm, yeah. I think I wish Trey did a little went further because I know it was fun. It was a fun downfall, of like all of a sudden building up such a big hold on the tribe to fall for the swap things. Like if this merge, it'd be even better.
Right.
It's weird to see a downfall arc happen before a swamp.
Yeah, yeah. It
It's
Trey was a
unique.
big character. I think he's a good. He has the ability to be a solid player. If I just
100%.
tone tone back his scheming just a little bit, sketched out his allies a little more than he should have, because he was in a good position.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I guess
I
just
think
credit to Miyari for having people that wanted to save her.
100%.
And
I also wanna say that Trey, I think if he went and played, like, 2 or 3 other orgs or whatever, and then came back, I think he'd do a lot better.
I agree. I agree.
So, would not be opposed to having a Trey in the future, which I can say about most people in this cast because, honestly, I feel like individually all these people are really good players or have really good potential.
Right. And it should be of note that Mayari, as far as I know, never really even considered playing her idol.
I know, that was crazy.
Like, she has the idol. She knows she's the only one from the outs on the last vote that could get
Mhm.
votes because Zach was immune.
Yeah.
Not that Mayari and Zach were really tight.
Yeah.
In fact, she said she definitely would have voted for Zach if Zach was not
Mhm.
immune. But she was really confident and rightfully so, and she was able to hang on to her idol, which was impressive to me.
That's this round specifically gives me hope for the future of like somehow Drupari coming out of the merge somehow. Just like the
Mm,
fact that the Mayari was destined to have to play her idol and then didn't even worry about it, had all that confidence,
mhm.
gives me hope. As much as
Yeah,
like I know, as much as I know you keep saying like there's no way that Drupari comes out of this, I think that
I,
she is like our last chance.
I think it's very unlikely. Um,
I mean,
I,
she has an idol.
am I wrong for saying that this was Mayari's like first idol she's ever found? I believe she said that.
I don't know about that. I never I never knew.
I feel like I heard that. But if that's the case, then it should be interesting to see how she ends up playing it, because if you never had an idol before, it's not as.
Yeah. Well, she said she's always an underdog, and if she was an underdog without an idol and still made Final 6,
Mhm.
imagine what she can do with an idol.
Okay, yeah, she
So,
said, "I'm really happy about this because I've played quite a few orgs, but I've never had an idol. So this is her
mhm,
first idol ever. So we'll
yeah,
see what she's able to do with it, because no one really knows that she hasn't. And
right. Yeah, that's
so
why I'm saying I'm on the Mayari train. Hopefully, she can
Joseph is a
single-handedly
very
save.
big Mayari stan. Uh, I
Yeah.
feel I can honestly see her getting sixth again, like she's said that she's gotten a
I
couple
mean,
times.
yeah, that's fair.
I think with the milk touch strong mentality, it's gonna be very hard for a Drupari to make the end
Oh,
without
without a doubt.
winning some immunities along the way.
Without a doubt. I agree. I don't know.
Right.
Anyways, that's dipping too much into the future a little bit.
Mhm.
Anyways, uh, third tribal council done. I don't think there's much else to say because Trey just kind of went home with that slow burn of Stabner slowly not
Uh,
trusting Trey.
yeah, Mike. It should be of note that Mike was blindsided in this.
Oh, that's right. At
They
this
were
point,
they were considering telling Mike really close
well,
before
they did,
treble.
but didn't he not believe it or something like that?
Did they? Did they tell him? I mean, he
Well, I
definitely
thought
didn't
I
change his vote.
well, what happened? No, he didn't
Oh,
change his vote. What happened was I'm pretty sure he was told, but then didn't believe it.
oh, because
That's what I thought.
he was told by Zach, right?
Right, was like, "Oh, I heard Steamer wants to target Trey."
Yeah, but he was thought that Zach was in the minority, so why would he know the real plan? They'd be telling
Right,
him the fake plan,
exactly.
so. But yeah, Mike ended up being blindsided and didn't vote for uh Trey to go home. He voted for Mayari,
Right.
so Mayari survived with 2 votes to her name, but
Yep.
lived
Um,
to fight another day.
right. So, next up what happens is we go into Final 15 and everyone drops their buffs. We have officially swapped into 3 new tribes. So we have the new
Milk,
Monai tribe, the new Jurapari tribe, and the new Pombero tribe.
Milk Touch was very, very, very happy for this swap, right?
Oh, yeah, they loved being separated. That was, like, their favorite part of this entire game.
Ooh, I definitely did not get a text from uh, Shannon saying that she was gonna cry and that I believe she said "fuck you, Matt."
Yeah,
Um, I mean, it's all tongue in cheek, but they didn't want to swap. They thought that they could just continue to dominate and get a bunch of
right.
tour parties out of there. But
Mhm.
nope.
And yeah, no. So on our new
Alas,
Monai
we swapped to
tribe
3 tribes.
yeah, on our new Monai tribe, we have 3 original, Monai members in Colin, Noah, and Oxy, and then 2 Jurapari members in Eric and Stabner. And then the Jurapari tribe, we have 2 Monai members with 3 Jurapari members, so Echo and Toby from Monai, and then Mayari, Toby, and Tyrell from, uh, what's it called?
Tour party.
Thank you. And then on the new Pombero tribe, which is our green auxiliary tribe, never seen a green auxiliary tribe before. That's
Nope,
totally
it's not. They're not like almost exclusively green.
um, we have 4 of 9 members of Marcos, Sage, Shannon, and Wib, and then 1 Drupari of Zach.
Yeah,
So
so at first I thought these tribes were going to be kind of interesting because I thought there was potential for flipping on each of the tribes because first in the first tribe, Colin and Oxy weren't close with Noah like at all. They were both actually like targeting each other's alliances. I think specifically Noah with Colin and Oxy, and then Noah was targeting Echo. So I
yeah.
thought that Noah could find himself in the middle between the other two and possibly try to make a move, considering they were already up 9-6 at that time.
Right.
And then on the middle tribe, I thought it'd be interesting because Mike just got blindsided, so he could be in the
Mhm.
middle between Mayari and Tyrell and Toby and Echo. And then on the third tribe, not as much on the third tribe, but if they'd gone to multiple tribal councils, they'd only have one buffer in Zach. And also, there was a new idol to be found at Pombero that could possibly shape things up. No one ended up finding it. It was in this. We can talk about that in the escape room, but
Yeah.
really didn't amount to much. They didn't even go to tribal, anyways.
Yep.
Do
What?
do you know? Have you heard or did you hear about what Pombero means? Did you purposely name the tribe that for a reason?
Does it mean something? I thought it was just some dude.
I mean, no, it's the dude that smokes cigarettes and likes honey and impregnates single women.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah,
I know he was just a spirit of mischief from
he's he's so creepy. And when they posted that in the chat, so what the first thing I did when I was like I thought we were about to swap, or I knew we were about to swap, was I googled Google Translate and then put Pombero in to make sure it didn't Google Translate to
Yeah.
something weird like Milk Touch did with Monai. Um, and I was like, oh cool, there's nothing weird about Pombero. And then 10 seconds after we swap, Shannon puts the little Pombero guy in the tribe chat that says Pombero underneath it. And I'm like, oh damn it. What are we this is gonna be another fucking meme. Uh, yeah, he likes stealing eggs, setting loose cattle, chicken and honey, frightening horses, and causing them to throw their riders off, as well as scattering corn, rice, and other provisions. The Pombero is also often accused of impregnating single women either by a mere touch of his hand or by tricking them into having sex with him. And it is said that babies who are born ugly and hairy are likely the result of a visit from the Pombero.
Oh my god.
So, If you came out of the womb ugly and hairy, you should probably ask your mother who the real father is, because maybe there's a chance that it's Pombero and not your actual father. At
Yeah,
least according to Argentinian folklore.
I see, I see. Um, yeah, so that's their tribe. I mean, honestly, I'd say out of all the tribes, um, I don't know. I like I said, I was excited like you were. Unfortunately, we did get pretty straightforward tribal councils, which are smart for the people's games. Obviously, I don't want to like bash the individual people for their games because obviously they have a smart gameplay because
Yeah,
they're doing what's
yeah,
best for them.
we
But
can
from a
get into
spectator standpoint,
the yeah, we can get into the individual decisions as we go through the tribals, but I think we
yeah,
got pretty unlucky with the challenge results this season.
yeah,
The first three challenges, all being Jurapari going home, were fun because Jurapari was kind of all over the place, but it would have been nice since both tribes were kind of divided if at least one went to the other tribal so that when we got to the swap, there'd be some division among
tension, yeah.
the milk touches. But you win some, you lose some. Uh,
Hmm.
and we find ourselves where we find ourselves. So we can go in the first swap tribal if you'd like.
Oh, I was gonna mention the escape the cabana about the idol
Yeah, that's what I meant. The first challenge.
challenge. Okay, so the first challenge of the swap is a staple to Brovivor at this point, which is the escape room challenge, aka rebranded to Escape the Cabana this season for some reason, aka Matt wanted to make a cabana. I don't know. It was fun. It was just themed
Yeah,
around the season. It
yeah.
was fine.
I just wanted it to be themed, and also I just was like making the challenge myself, and I was like, I need to put a picture to hide this
Yeah,
idol in somehow. I need a reason to put a picture, and I was like, okay, well maybe let's
it's
make it
cabana.
themed and make it cabana because I was like having
Right.
trouble finding pictures of like an escape room that like worked as a background
Hmm.
for some reason because if I just put a picture of like a random house, people would be very suspicious. So I had to theme it
Yeah.
in order to
So
hide
we
the idol.
have so we have Escape the Cabana. Both Manai and Jurupari. They have with each tribe has their own individual starting commands this time around. Manai and Jurupari,
Yeah,
there's nothing special about their picture. Pombera, on the other hand, there is a hidden command in the picture. I think somewhere like in the water or something like that. I don't remember exactly
it's
where I
it,
put it.
it's in the water near the like the little stone platform the cabana's on.
Okay.
So I thought it was pretty obvious myself
Yeah. Well, to
that
be
there was an
fair.
idol clue hidden in this because why else would we make three different starting commands
Mhm.
for the three different
We
tribes?
also
No one picked up on it though.
How well, you also have to realize that the people on the Pembera tribe, like Marcos, Shannon, Wib, are all new to org, so they don't know the meta of hiding stuff in.
I mean,
Uh,
Oxy went through in VC and taught Shen the different ways that people hide them in orgs.
okay, that's
So like
Oxy though.
I know, but like she specifically told me that people sometimes hide them in like pictures and stuff, and
Yeah,
so I was a little disappointed that no one on that tribe found the idol
yeah. We
command,
we we
especially.
put it. Yeah, we put something in the after a couple rounds. We put something in the channel topic. It was like, hey, like it wasn't this exactly, but it was basically, hey, dummy, you forgot to look through this escape
Yeah,
room.
you may have escaped the cabana, but you did not find all the puzzles that were found in the
Right.
cabana.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, because I was
yeah,
just like, hey, please find this idol. Please find this
yeah,
idol. I put effort. We put effort into making this escape room the way it was
right.
so that
So
there could
yeah,
be an idol hidden in it, and no one found it. But that's okay.
yeah.
It
So
happens.
Pombero, I mean, that's really all there is to talk about Pombero this entire swap. If I'm gonna be
Uh,
honest.
uh, we can talk about Marcos and him trying to maneuver Shannon and Wib, and Shannon and Wib grow pretty close on Pombero.
Hmm.
Also, everyone hates Zach S. Zach S.
Well, okay, that's obvious.
Bad. Okay, but Zach S's social game so bad. So it's just so bad. Like apparently Wib tried to reach out to him and was like, "Oh, I was on the bottom of one eye. Please help me. I want to be allies with you." And Zach was like, "Okay, cool." And
Jeez.
yo, I got a question for you, Wib. When did I ask?
Yeah, that was.
That's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
the tone Wib, or at least that's what Wib's trying was telling people that Zach did,
Yeah.
and they bonded over Zach. So apparently Wib found or went onto Zach's Reddit page.
Oh no.
Uh, no, no, it's not what you think.
Okay.
He f he found, like, comments on the Survivor subreddit bashing Natalie Anderson and, just
Oh.
modern Survivor in general, and he told that to Shannon, who loves Natalie Anderson with her whole heart, and so that helped galvanize, Shannon against Zach.
Mhm.
Luckily, they didn't scroll super far back in Zach's, Reddit history like you guys did back in Dyneric Alps.
That wasn't on this tribe.
No, we don't need to talk about that, but if you wanna know the story, you can check out the podcast with PG last time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Pombero had a pretty stacked tribe in terms of challenges, and the only, like, possible things to talk about are should they have thrown a challenge to save someone else
Mhm.
or not, and what would have happened after Zach went home because Zach was gonna go home. There was no doubt about it. If
Right,
they had
right.
lost a single challenge, Zach would have gone home. But I didn't really think there was a chance they would lose a challenge. So
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
miracle that Zach made the merge, to be honest. But here we
Yeah.
are. Anyways, we can get into the specifics of the escape room.
Yeah. So escape room. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about. I mean, Manai Manai did well. Pombera did well. Jupari, no,
Awful,
awful.
god
Uh,
awful. Like
like,
I've never seen a group of people struggle so much on a Sudoku. I literally jumped in like 40 minutes before I had to leave, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll get this done with
hmm
them. Uh, I left. I left for my thing to go pick up my roommate
yeah,
at like 30, 30, like 5 minutes into their challenge, and I
yeah,
got back, and they were still on the Sudoku that I had left them with.
yeah,
And it was like an
yeah.
hour at that point, and the other two tribes had already finished in both like under 35 minutes, and I was like, "Oh man, that's just unfortunate." I just let them do a Sudoku for like 40 minutes when
hmm
I could have just stopped them like right before I left. So we ended up stopping them and being like, "Hey, you guys are way past
Yeah.
the time."
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
So they lose pretty bad. Nothing really too exciting. We get to tribal council, and so this is one of the interesting tribes because there's suddenly a minority of Manai, and since the Manai tribe is very public about their love for the Manai tribe, they really love themselves.
yeah,
Um,
it should be noted that everyone on the Monai tribe had
yeah,
hashtag Team Milk Touch in their name
yep,
before the swap, and they kept it there. Basically promoting their tribe loyalty. And
hmm
at this point, they've lost three straight Juruparis, and the Juruparis finally have a majority on some tribe. And it was it was very unlikely that any of them were gonna take that opportunity to vote out yet another Jurupari and give even more power to the people that have been
yeah,
dominating the game so far. And so
yeah,
that really just left it to, hey, are we gonna vote Echo or Toby?
hmm yeah. And didn't Toby took the approach of going to the Drew Party people and being like, "Hey, I am I am like on no, well, he didn't say he's on the bottom, but he tried to establish connections right
He
away
was
and
like,
just said, I'm
I'm
very
gonna
open
work
to
with
telling
you.
you guys, yeah, I want to work with you. I'm very open. If you have any questions, let me know. Here's basically what happened." And then he just listed a bunch of stuff. And then and on paper, that should work. That should show that you're willing to work with them and would open up like cracks in the other tribe. So clearly you should keep that guy, right? Right?
Nope.
No. What you do is we're going to vote him out because he could jump ship on us. He was too quick to jump ship on his own tribe. So what's saying he's not going to jump ship on us in the future?
Yeah, that was kind of the stance they took, and they both they all felt that they were pretty comparable in challenges. So like
Right.
getting rid of Toby over Echo wouldn't have been that detrimental because they obviously wanted to try to win challenges if they possibly
hmm
could. I mean, really I guess they did end up winning one, but it wasn't because of Echo or Toby.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it wasn't really uh, that complicated of a vote. People didn't really strategize much besides Toby being like, "Okay, I'll vote Echo," and Echo being like, "Okay, I'll vote Toby." And I
Yeah.
think Mayari and Echo stayed in BC for a little bit after the escape room, and they
Mhm.
built a little connection there. So they're just like, "Okay, I'm also a little more connected to Echo than I am to Toby." And it really sucks because Toby was in a pretty crushing position. I think on Monai, he wouldn't have been one of the first to go at all, and people trusted him, wanted to work with him a lot.
Right.
Um, and he wasn't one of the people who was super like milk touch strong. And so
Mhm.
if you're listening to this, Toby, I'm sad to see you go. And
Yeah.
I think if anyone can say they were swap screwed, it was Toby.
Yep. Yep. I agree. Um, so again, not really much happening there. So next challenge is
Who get
pyramid
who
scheme.
get
Oh,
who gets the bounty from Toby going home? Was it Oxy or is
yeah,
it
it's
Sage? No, it's
no,
Sage.
I think it's Sage. Okay,
Yeah, which
well,
okay,
Sage gets
which
the bounty.
still hasn't come into play yet because Sage is wins the rest of the
One.
challenges for the pre-merge.
Right. Yes. So next challenge comes in. It's called Pyramid Scheme, which is just tile flip from last season, except in a pyramid. There's a lot that goes down here. So the three representatives that we have are Wib from the Pombero tribe, Colin from the Manai tribe, and Echo from the Jurupari tribe. And we give them a chance to kind of talk out everything just until they have their time for the challenge. And Echo takes the approach of, I know I'm screwed if we go to the tribal council. So I'm going to try to get Colin's attention and tell him to throw the challenge. And
Yeah, I'm trying to find the message that he does. So Wib went into it thinking that he was going to try to convince Colin to throw,
mhm,
but basically everyone from Milk Touch besides Colin and Oxy and Noah was assuming that Colin would be throwing this challenge to save Echo,
right.
right?
Yep.
Um, trying to find the message. He quickly put a message in the pyramid scheme
Mhm.
and then deleted it. He
Yeah, it
said,
was
"Yo,
basically just
yo."
saying,
No, I got
oh,
it. I
you do
found
you
it.
have the okay.
He said, "Yo, yo, at Colin hashtag Team Milk Touch. We shouldn't go after each other in this challenge. Can't message you, so I figured this was the best way to keep it on the low."
Yeah, I think what he should have done is waited for Colin, like, and him to be in a normal conversation, and then just been like, "Hey, Colin, if you see this, react," and then done it. Because I don't know if did he actually get Colin's attention, or did he just think that he got his attention?
I'm not sure. He thinks that he did,
Mhm.
but I'm not actually sure because we never saw anything from Colin about it. He never really like said it in confessional like, "Oh, Echo asked me to throw."
Yeah.
But as far as I know, Colin really didn't feel comfortable throwing for whatever
Right.
reason. Just because I guess that's just not the way he likes to play, and people were not happy.
No. Yeah, so what happens is the challenge goes on, and then all of a sudden, like, it goes back and forth, turns happen, blah, 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 and then it gets to a
So
point where Colin has a very, very easy chance to just throw to Echo, and doesn't take it.
it was funny because I was you and I were on call with our family, right?
Right.
I had Shannon sitting to the right of me,
Mhm.
um, while the challenge was going on, and it gets to this point where uh, Echo, Colin can throw for Echo, and he just doesn't,
Yeah.
and Shannon was like very upset, visibly upset.
Mhm.
It was like the one outcome that they didn't want to happen, Echo losing the challenge in a challenge that they have full control over. Um, and supposedly Echo going, he went, did he go second? Colin says that's supposedly the best spot to go from if you don't play poorly. So like
Colin
all
went
sign,
second. It was Echo that went,
okay. Well, whatever it was, Colin said that Echo was in like the best spot from his practices.
yeah.
Um, so all signs pointed to Echo pulling this one out and giving Jurupari its
God.
first win. And
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention while it was happening, but you were hosting it, so you know better than me how it wraps up.
Yeah, so basically he just doesn't take the opportunity, screws himself, or not, doesn't screw himself, but he doesn't take the opportunity to win or to throw to Echo, sorry. And then all of a sudden, like Echo's like, "Come on, man, you should have thrown to me." And then he was like, "Sorry, I can't do that. That goes against everything." But it was fun playing with you. Like he already
He
knew he
was
was
like,
getting voted out. He was like,
he, yeah, yeah. Colin played this very poorly because he was like, "Oh, if it was individual, I probably would have thrown it, man." Just
"Yep,
basically like speaking to the entire game and telling them, "Yeah, I'm pretty much milk touch strong, but not to the point where I'm willing to throw for my milk touchers."
mhm,
Like he basically told everyone where he stood, but at the same time alienated his allies by not doing the thing
yeah,
that would actually benefit them,
yep."
you know?
Yep, that
And
was
so
very poorly played on Colin's part.
he just tried to have it both ways, but instead he had it both the opposite ways, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I
And
feel I
so
don't know. Colin really he really screwed that. He really whiffed it.
let me see if I can find what Wib said about him. Because I think Wib and Sage were the ones that were like most upset with Colin.
Mm.
Um, does that check out with your
I
understanding of
don't
what
know.
happened?
Honestly, everyone was just upset. It was a unified like, "Really,
I mean,
Colin?"
I don't think Oxy and Noah really were that upset because obviously they weren't
Oh, because they
getting.
won. I just meant everybody on Pombero was
Yeah,
like,
It was Pombero and Echo.
yeah, right. So, I don't know. That was really the all that happened that round because at tribal council, Drew Apari loses, and then they go, and it was a really easy vote of Echo. Like there was nothing he could have done. Nobody was
Right.
even considering flipping at that point.
Yeah, he thought he did a good job of convincing Mike and Tyrell to flip, but really was to no avail. I don't
Yeah,
remember at what point this was, if it was the last round or this round, but he ended up taking hashtag Team Milk Touch out of his name, which
yeah.
was supposedly
Signified to the other tribe.
signal to the other tribe that he was going to get voted out. So I think it was the previous round, so because they all thought that Echo was going to go and not Toby,
Hmm.
uh, just because Echo's shown to be worse in challenges probably, and
Right.
he's a little more erratic than Toby, but
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm sad about Echo. He also got swap screwed there a little bit. Um,
mhm.
Echo was one of my favorites coming in just because I already knew him from outside this game, and so to see him go really upset me. Which oh well. What can I do now? Nothing.
Yeah, Wib
um,
apparently said, "Low key, I'm still really pressed." This was a couple hours after the Colin didn't throw the challenge. He said, "Low key,
yeah.
I'm still pretty pressed, and I'm going to annihilate Colin."
Hmm.
So there's a chance that that's going to have ramifications for the upcoming merge. I think personally that if a move is going to be made on Old Monai being they're going to flip on themselves, it'll
Yeah.
be Wib going after Colin.
Yeah.
That's just, or at least, or one of the homies that's not Shannon. So
Hmm.
Oxy.
Yep.
So hopefully
I agree with that.
that little
I
tension
think it's
there
gonna be Colin. I think it's gonna be Colin because Noah's too
can
close
cause
to
some
Oxy.
interesting stuff. Yeah, I think hopefully that little tension can cause some interesting strategy down the road, and it helps make those dynamics a little more less straightforward at least.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it's just time to eulogize Echo then.
Yeah. I don't
In
know.
in loving memory of Echo, April 3rd, 2021 to April 15th, 2021. Apparently he only was alive for 12 days.
Yeah,
Uh,
that makes sense to me. That's the
yeah,
lifespan of a turtle.
yeah. The lifespan of a Beast Boy.
Yeah, it's 12 days.
Gone, gone, but never forgotten. Except
Mhm.
he, literally gone because he left the server.
Yeah, which, ruins the streak of MC community people doing really well in this,
Hey,
series.
we still have Oxy.
Okay, but he's not the same community as, Echo, Liz, and Gonzo are.
Well, That's
Like
unfortunate,
there's
but
there's there's like a sub community, right? Like you have.
mhm,
I just meant the same.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was inevitable that someone was gonna take the fall for such an obvious milk touch, uh, a
Yeah.
domination, and at the end of the day, it ended up being Echo,
Mhm.
and, it's unfortunate, but he
Yeah.
helped create the milk touch, motto, and he just didn't perform in challenges when he wasn't as brazen in asking for people to throw.
Yeah.
Uh, I think there's still stuff he could have done, but largely it was an unfortunate circumstance. And the funny thing was, he was the most excited for the swap of anybody on Milk Touch.
Yeah. Oh well. So moving on, we have our next challenge, which is uh, Evil 2048.
Evil
Obviously a classic,
2048.
and I know you're gonna say that copy pasta of whatever.
I would never say that. I've never sent that in this server ever again, and I'm definitely
No.
not stalling right now until I can find it. I
No,
would
no, of course
never.
not. So Evil 2048, it's 2048, but
No, let me say it. It's like normal 2048, but evil. You can't
yeah.
play any other kind of 2048. It has to be this one specifically. Otherwise, it's not evil enough.
Which that translates to the game is specifically trying to make you lose by giving you the worst placement of pieces as possible.
Right.
Um,
I feel
so
I feel the need to justify this choice a little bit because people did hated this game. The reason that I personally like using Evil 2048 as a challenge as opposed to like regular 2048 is I feel like it's a little more unique, and also the fact the runs are shorter and it's more difficult as opposed to when you do normal 2048. People can just like have like hour-long runs that get really high scores, and so the like disparity in scores and time is much higher on the regular 2048.
yeah,
So like one really good score can just vault you up in
yeah,
normal 2048, where evil 2048, it's less uh,
hmm
divided normally, at least until this season where we had a 13,000 score. Um, and also, I think you just gotta temper your expectations. People are just used to the normal 2048. It's a different game, so you should be expecting different setups. So
right. Um, so in this time around, we had a record broken. What was Kotank's original score? Because I'm pretty sure he
it's
must have
like
had the
it
record.
was like
What was it?
9,600
Okay, so then we
something
had
like that.
two
It was like
people.
9,000
We had
something.
like two people get past the Kotank score, which
Yeah,
is obviously our Brovivor comp beast, challenge beast. I would say at least.
yeah, yeah. Shannon once
So
again,
so we have
Shannon once
Whip.
again proves that. Oh, I was gonna say Shannon once again proves that she's probably the biggest challenge threat in this game, and that she's dedicated because she made this run at
Mhm.
3 in the morning. So she got ready for bed. She like finished doing her runs or whatever, and then she went to bed. She went to get ready for bed, and then she was like at 3 a.m. She was like, let me do one more on my phone before I go to bed. And then
Yeah.
we can see in her submissions channel like her second to last submission was on her computer, and then the next one's on her phone. And so at 3:30 a.m. she gets this insane, the highest
Yeah.
score of Evil 24 I've ever seen. I don't know if you've seen anything
No.
even close to
No.
that in other
No.
other orgs, but so much so I had checked to make sure that it was like Evil 2048, and she didn't like accidentally click on regular 2048. Not that I didn't trust her, but it just seemed
Mhm.
outrageous.
Right. Right.
And then I mean, Wib did almost almost as good.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
getting a
it's still
9,000
beating
score is
Kotank's.
phenomenal.
So
Yeah, you hear
that's a
that,
confirmed.
Kotank? You are not that good.
um, I mean, we had him beat the record last season. Kazooie beat Kotank, or not Kotank. I guess it was it was set by something that was I'm blanking on the name. Anyways, the point is, Pombero proceeds to crush the challenge once again, and it comes
Dom
down,
dominate.
yeah, completely crushes it. And then it
cementing
comes
the
down
fact
to
that the 4 of them would not go to tribal pre-merge.
right. So that can, which means that Manai and Jirapari end up, what's it called? Manai and Giopari end up coming down to a close battle, and it came down to like 100 point difference or something like that in the average. And for the first time this season, Giopari wins an immunity challenge.
No, you're joking. That didn't happen.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Jirapari
It's
won?
true. Yeah,
What?
and for the first time this season, Mayari, Mike, and Tyrell also avoided tribal council, which kind of snuffed our chances of having a Denise type of winner where they go to every single
Mm,
tribal council.
oh, that would have been interesting. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, finally, Monai lost a challenge. Someone not named
Yeah.
Jirapari would be at tribal.
Yep. And so for the first time as well, we also get three people who have never seen tribal council this entire time coming in and being like, whoa, we actually have to vote somebody out now. And Colin, Noah, and Oxy.
Yeah,
So
an interesting thing to note, right before this tribal, Oxy had immunity because of Echo going home.
yes. So that kind
And
of
do
left
you want to explain what happened to Oxy?
yeah. So Oxy's got in a car crash.
Oxy's immune. Oxy's in a car crash. Eric and Stabner have been working for a couple days trying to make some sort of crack happen between the three of them. Uh, it seemed at first to me that they were gonna try to get Colin and Oxy to flip on Noah, at least in the
Yeah.
first couple days, but that kind of fizzled out after uh, just like the days went on
Hmm.
because they were originally all in VC without Noah, which was a little bonding time, so that was a possibility. But as it got closer to when they actually went to tribal, it seemed more likely that Noah was going to be the one to flip on Colin and Oxy,
Right.
specifically Colin because Oxy didn't wasn't able to be voted for.
Hmm.
Um, and it should also be noted that at this point, the tribal lines are 7-6.
Hmm.
Seven Juraparis, or seven Milk Touchers, six Juraparis are left in the game. So if Noah was to flip on Colin, that would bring them to a merge with six Juraparis and six Milk Touchers, which would have been fun for
Mm.
us.
Don't
But
remind me of what I'm
but
missing out on, Matt.
but probably a poor scenario for Milk Touchers in general, including Noah. He would have either had to flip or go to rocks. Just
Right.
fully flip.
Well, I mean, okay, the thing is I feel like Jurapari is gonna be a lot closer just because they have that underdog type of story, right?
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah,
like had it been 6-6, I think Jurapari would have stuck together more than I would have because Jurapari had attended more tribal councils, regardless of being
yeah,
even at merge. They would have been
and they
like,
yeah, and they'd have no reason to flip on each other because uh, no one would have voted someone of their own member out. They had only voted
right.
out the other tribe. Um, but we didn't get that, and so I think it was the right move for Noah. I
Mhm.
think he's actually in a pretty good spot now,
Yeah.
knowing that he voted for Eric, but
Mhm.
Stabner still wants to work with him going forward.
Yeah.
And he's not in the group that will probably get targeted
Mhm.
of the milk touchers when it comes down to it. So I think Noah's in a good spot to go far. Whether he can win or not, I don't know. But I think he made the right decision, as boring it might have seemed
Mhm.
to us, sticking with this tribe. Don't you
Right.
agree?
No, I definitely agree. I think that well, I mean, honestly, Noah, like, in the short term, it was better for him, but I know that I think Noah's gonna be, um, I don't know, Noah's gonna have a hard time, uh, doing well in the Monai setting, assuming that Monai just sticks together. Like, unless something happens, like there's an actual flip that occurs, I think Noah's gonna struggle a little bit. But
Yeah, yeah. I guess we'll see.
mhm.
But I think he's
So
set up well to go far at least.
So yeah, no, 100%. So I think that at this tribal council also it shifts to them trying to flip Noah, like you said. but because they tried to rat out Colin and Oxy for throwing Noah under the bus at
Yeah,
the
so
tropical
Stabner goes to Noah and's like, "Oh, yeah, Colin was throwing your name out," which is true. It was a couple days ago, and Colin ended up, like, not being really serious about it. So, uh, at first, Noah's like, "Yeah, I'm just sticking with Colin and Oxy," but then Stabner gives him this information. He's like, maybe I should flip if Colin was throwing my name out." Um, it should
Mhm.
also be noted that if Stabner was to be voted out, because Eric's bounty was Stabner, Eric would be immune at the next tribal council. So if they had to go back to another tribal council before a merge, Eric would have been immune, and they would have had to
Right.
vote out one of their own. So I don't think voting out Stabner there was ever really an option
Mhm.
for the majority. So they basically were targeting Eric
Yep.
because of that fact, and also, I mean, Eric was just not a member of their original tribe, so they were fine with it. They didn't have that much of a connection
Mhm.
to Eric.
Yep. So, Eric goes home, unfortunately, and I feel like Eric was somebody who was a pretty good force in the beginning of this game. I think that not going to tribal councils, um, like, at the beginning of the swap kinda hurt them
Hmm.
a little bit. Like, I feel like the if there was a Menai tribal council right when the merge hit, as opposed to, what,
Right,
2
especially
rounds later,
yeah,
especially since they had
especially after Monai lost two of their own, Toby and Echo, it became
right,
increasingly clear that the Juraparis were gonna be voting out Monai any
yeah,
chance they can get, so they weren't as inclined to work with the other side when the other
right,
side isn't inclined to work with your side. So it just galvanizes everyone in the game, be like, oh,
yep,
it's us versus them.
yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, I was excited for Eric to play Brovivor just because, they've always been somebody I was trying to get to play the series for a very long time and didn't get a chance to get until now, and so for them to only get 13th place was sad. But obviously, as with every pre-merger, for the most part, or as of like anybody from Trey onwards, um, I've basically said I'd love to have him come back.
Hmm.
So, and I'm fine with that. Like I love everybody individually. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric's great.
But yeah, so that wraps up our pre-merge portion of this game. Obviously, since what's it called? Since whoever had Eric, what's it called? Trey had Eric as a bounty, and since Trey was already voted out, nobody gets immunity because of
Yeah,
that.
so the only
That wraps
person
up.
going into
Yeah,
merge with immunity is Sage.
correct. And a lot of the circulation of bounties is only the Monai people, which makes sense. Except for like one or two people there, here and there, that are from Drupari, but
I
I
believe
don't know.
Stabner still has Tyrell
Correct.
and
Mayari still has Mike.
the other. Correct. There we go.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of those M names.
So yeah, that's the pre-merge. I think Matt. I don't remember if this is in the alumni or spectator lounge, but at some point he put in his boot list, so I know where he stands on with who he
Yeah,
thinks can make far and who's gonna
I was gonna,
win.
I was gonna say, do you want to make winner picks from and first boot picks?
Well, first boot pick's gonna be an easy one.
I think I would be shocked if Zach does not
Yeah,
go here. Uh,
I agree.
the Pomberos hate him. The Druparis really don't care about him that much,
Yeah, no, the
especially in the
Drew
fact that
Pars see
he
him as pretty much a dead weight.
doesn't
Like,
actually have the idol.
yep.
Yeah, and Zach was very vocal about not wanting a Milk Touch merge tribe name, and
Right.
the Milk Touchers didn't like that, obviously, because that's what they wanted.
Mhm.
And so, do you want me to? Should I read the copy pasta of Wib talking about
No,
Zach?
it's fine, it's fine.
No, no.
No, it's fine, no,
Okay,
we get it.
okay.
We get
Wib
it, people hate Zach. Zach
Wib
is gonna
hates
be the
Zach.
first merge boot.
If you
I
want
think
to
that's
see if you want to see the copy pasta of Wib hating Zach, go to the funny haha chat. It'll be in there.
yeah, I think we get the point. Zach will be the first merge boot unless something crazy happens, like somehow he wins immunity, which I doubt happens because of the first merge immunity challenge being, uh, pretty pretty favored towards the Menai tribe, if I'm gonna be honest.
I don't think it's pretty favored. I mean, it's slightly favored, but not everyone there trusts everyone enough to give them their words. But that's
Right.
that's a discussion for a later podcast.
Right. So
Uh,
yeah, but I don't know. I think Zach's going out early, easy,
right.
first, if not second.
So would Wib also be your winner pick at this point?
um, I don't think Wib's my winner pick. I think that the problem that's gonna happen, I think Wib's gonna go out at fourth. I think because I think people are gonna throw votes on the Wib on the way out from the Jurapari tribe, maybe. Because they see Wib maybe as a big, although maybe I take it back, no. But I feel like Wibs can not win the Final Four challenge of least votes and then get cut at Final Four, and then we get a Final Three of somebody else in the case
Yeah,
that Manai gets their way.
yeah. That was the tough part when I made my boot list was trying to
Mhm.
decide who would actually go out at four because it's a lot dependent on of how they get there.
Right.
Um, But I think Wibb's definitely in the middle of the Milk Touchers who are in power right now, and so
Yeah.
if he's able to play it right, he has the best chance of
Mhm.
winning, in my opinion.
No, I
Um,
agree with that. I think my winner pick is gonna be I want it to be Mayari because I love Mayari, but I know it's not
alright.
gonna happen.
No, go for it. We can have
No, fine. I'll pick Mayari. I want it
mhm,
to be Mayari. Do I think it's gonna be Mayari? Eh, it depends on what happens these first few tribal councils, and I think if Drew Party can get footing, I think Mayari has this
mhm.
in the bag. Uh,
I'd also like to throw out that I think Shannon has a good chance of winning,
I'm
and
worried
I
about the same thing with Shannon of at Final Four. Unless both Shannon and Wib are in the Final Four.
I think that Shannon can win enough immunities that she won't get any votes, and then
Oh, that's true. I never thought about it that way.
if she wins enough immunities and then doesn't have any votes at the final four, she
Mhm.
could have immunity and win the game. Uh,
But I am
uh,
worried though with Shannon that
mhm.
I'm worried about with Shannon is at the final four, like at the final three or whatever. If it's all three Manais, I think if her claim to fame is winning immunities, right? I worry that she's just going to be not given the win because of that. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
And also, especially considering because the majority of the jury would be Jurapari at that point, and they're not going
yeah,
to give the votes to somebody who's such strong milk toucher.
yeah. The Milk Touchers, I think, need to make at least some sort of bonds with the jury party so that they can get their
Right.
jury vote at the end of the day. But
Right.
I think she has a shot. I
Uh
think
huh.
it's she's very dedicated to these challenges, and as long as the challenges are something that she can uh,
Yeah.
study for and do do well in it, then
Hmm.
I think she has a good chance.
I agree. Cool. So do you have anything else you want to add? Or
Uh, no, I think I'm good.
okay, I think I'm also good. This was a decently ish podcast. I don't know. It was a fun time. I was glad that we were able to get this done instead of being just dismissing it and getting forgetting everything like we did last season.
Yes, we did not forget about you guys.
Right. So
All all
hopefully,
all five of you.
yeah. Hopefully at the merge, we can cover every 4 rounds maybe. Um, but otherwise,
I'm not gonna promise anything.
okay. I don't want to commit to that either, but I just want
I'll
to like
I'll commit that there will be at least one more podcast.
I'll commit there'll be at least two.
I'll commit that there'll be at least not three.
You're also going to commit to.
I'm not no nope.
I'm going to
I'm
commit
not
to
gonna commit
one
to
for the
three.
merge at a minimum, and the one with our winner. That's my
Okay. Well,
guarantee.
I guarantee that I will try my best, and that's all that you can ask for.
All right. And I guess I was going to say as always, but not as always. Just this time, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Matt. And Joseph, it was very brave of you to come onto this podcast
Thank you. It was very
uh,
brave
about
of me. It was very
about
courageous.
Brovivor.
Yeah, you could barely handle all this broness yourself, could you?
Mhm. And I think
Yeah.
we're gonna leave this podcast with honey and sugar and cigarettes for the Pombero
God.
to
All
come
right.
impregnate our women.
All right. It's all right. Thank you all for listening. Enjoy for the rest of the season.